Good evening, everybody. Oliver Joyce here from Whiskey Barrel Studios, and it's time for another Spartacus game developer update. Well, we're 2 weeks in to our project so far, and it's been a pretty steep learning curve. I spent a couple of weeks doing Unity tutorials before this, before diving in. I figured I could do tutorials forever, but the best way to learn is to actually dive into the project and get things right and get things wrong. In the last week or so, or more specifically the last few days, because that's when I really get time to work on the game all day rather than a couple of hours here and there at night. Well, these last few days have been productive but also problematic, because I'm using a lot of custom systems and plugins and things like that. Not only am I learning Unity, but I'm having to learn how these plugins work. A lot of purists will say you should do everything from scratch, and on the one hand, I would agree with that completely. But on the other hand, I feel like I don't want to spend years making this game. This project is supposed to be sort of a 6-7 month development cycle at best, and I don't want to reinvent the wheel. So although I know in my head how to make a platform game, I don't really want to code all that from scratch. And so I'm using a plugin called the Corgi engine, and that's really cool. It allows you to hugely customize what is an existing platform engine with collisions and things like wall jumping and character animation flags and all that kind of stuff. And you can bring it in and customize it so much that you make a really interesting looking game. This Corgi engine, however, is quite complicated in its own right, and everyone says it's easy, but easy to do some things, but other things not so easy, and there's a lot of hidden things to look through. So anyway, in today's update, last week I showed you the character moving around on a basic blank map, and today I'm going to show you a little bit more about tile mapping, which is not part of the Corgi engine, not specifically part of it, but it's something that will be a huge part of the game because it's a tile-based platformer. So let's dive into Unity and have a look at what I'm talking about. All right, so here we are. Not in actually Unity as I said, but first of all, we're in Texture Packer. And what Texture Packer is, it's a program that gets all your sprites and graphics and packs them together in one big image like so. What I have here is all my images, part of this castle tile set. As you can see here, all the different bricks you can see are being highlighted, and they're all being packed into one big image that we will bring into Unity. This is a tile set done by Brulov, who is my artist from Ukraine. It's actually a tile set that I originally bought, and I liked it so much that I hired him to do the art for the whole game. So this is not going to be the final tile set. It'll be edited a bit, and we'll also be doing a dungeon-based tile set because this is more castle and it reflects further levels in the game. It originally started in like a more sort of underground dungeon / mine area, so this won't be the starting area. But anyway, once we have all these textures, what I do is I publish the sprite sheet up here, and then I bring it into Unity here, and we have what's called a tile palette, which I've set up. There's a few steps in between here, but you can see all my tiles there. And now in the game, I can actually paste these layers, and I've got my level here right now. So we have a grid and we have a background image, the background layer. And what I do is I'll select a brick tile. Actually, I'll select this one because this is a fancy one I'll show you. And when I paste it, see it's pasting the background image behind all those tiles. Why didn't that work? Paste. There we go. Okay. You could easily just paste from the tile set like this. I could just paste this one if I didn't want all those graphics there. But what we actually have is a special tile called a rule tile. And what a rule tile is tile that rules. It's a special tile that you can see here. Takes a bunch of other tiles and then we'll paste them randomly. So it doesn't only do that, but it sets up a way to paste your tiles based on certain rules. And so that's not the best example of it. What I've been working on is the actual castle floor. And based on these rules here, these little arrows and so on, I'm not finished with this yet, but I'm able to have a quick look at that. If I, yeah, okay. So going back to the tile palette, if I choose the castle rule tile, which I've set up, the floor, we'll delete all this. Oh, wrong layer. I've actually got to go to the platform layer. So we're on the platform layer. The platform layer is actually the layer of things that the player can collide with. So if we delete all this, see how the tile actually changes. And I'm not quite finished setting this up, so I'm going to add stairs and so on to it. But if we then, I'll delete that as well. Delete all that because that's not part of it. We'll leave that one over there. But if we then draw, notice how you start to see it filled out. So it actually feels like the edges are being made. So I'm missing one there. I need to add to a rule to the tile, but I'm starting to create platforms like that. So I can have a platform over here. And then if I put something there, it's creating walls around it. And this is really handy. You see it a lot in top-down games when you're doing roads and rivers. You don't have to find little corner pieces all the time. So let's put that there. Build our little level. This is what I'm calling the test bed level. And it's a level that is essentially just going to be used for, trying out different things in the game. Creating platform there, create one there. What we also have here, before I show you the level, is we've also got a torch on the wall. So we go to the props, got a torch, a wall torch. Now this is an animation, we've got two of them. Now I can go here, and I'll open up my wall torch, and I'll show you the animation. So if we go wall torch, that's a little wall torch animation, 6 frames done by Rulov, and it's very effective. It's quite simple, but when shrunk down it looks very effective. And what I've done is I've combined that with a lighting source, which you don't see here, and I'm not going to show you in this video. I'm going to show you in a future video because it's actually quite cool and I want to surprise you with it. But I've added dynamic lighting to this game now, so when you're in the dark and when you get closer to torches and so on, you'll see the light so it turns orange and that kind of thing. And I'm really just playing around with that, and I want to get it right before I show you. So we'll go to the lighting manager. We're actually going to disable that. That's what it will look like. Essentially, see how that's lighting up the wall without width. That's just a small taste of it. So we're disabling it for now. And we'll close our tile palette. And then I should play you in the editor, and then I'll actually show you the full build of what the game looks like so far. So there's our level start, that little green bit. Here's our little man appearing. If we change this to 6, okay, that's zoomed in a lot, but okay, let's zoom out of that. What I'll do is actually show you. In the editor, it doesn't run as smoothly, but in the actual game, when it's built, it's much smoother. But yeah, all those platforms now work as collided. Our little man can actually look up and down. There's a torch there. If you look up, camera scrolls up. If you look down, camera scrolls down. It's actually got gamepad support as well, which is really cool, and I'll show you that in a future video. Will we make that jump? No, but we have wall jumping. I'm not going to allow you to do unlimited wall jumping like that, but at some point you will be able to. So that's pretty cool, and that's the beginnings of a tile-based platform game. So we're now going to switch over to the final build, and I'll show you, or not an actual build version, because what we're viewing here in the editor mode, you can see the game, but it's not the same. You know what I mean? It's very different from how the game actually runs in an executable or the final version. Okay, so let's jump over to that now. Okay, so I skipped the actual compile process because it's too slow, and I want to show you the final version. So see how much smoother that is when you move around. Jump up, jump down. The blue will be a background. Notice up the top there as well, I forgot to mention this, but that's our character portrait for Spartacus. And and I've given him a little heart bar there, which doesn't actually work properly yet, but that's what it will pretty much look like. And what I want to do is I want to add like a Doom style sort of health indicator to the portrait, and as he gets more hurt, he'll start a black eye, and he'll maybe missing a tooth, and he'll be looking bloody and cut from the head and so on as you get more and more hurt. Because I used to love that in Doom, so we're going to add that to this. Not much of a level here, but bump, bump, bump. There's actually platforms that you can add into this that are, you know, one way so you can jump up or down them, but these are solid walls. If we jump down, we die, but we should reappear. There we go, we're back at our start. There is another torch there, but it's hidden behind the platform. All right, so there you go. That is Game Developer Update 2. Next for me will be really refining the lighting, the light maps. I want to get them looking really special before I show you. And then hopefully in the next week or so, I'll actually have the proper character to put in there, because that will be really cool instead of this dodgy little stick figure. And I want to get the head-up display working as well with the little the man's little heart bar. I'm going to get that working. And then we'll start, once we've got those all in place, we can start playing around with things like spikes and, you know, traps and, you know, razor things that go up and down, that kind of stuff like that. Before I put enemies in, I want to have level elements that can destroy you and that kind of thing. Basically, we're building a sandbox of all the different interesting things you can put into a level before we actually start doing any real level design. We want to know what tools we have to play with. So that'll come in the next week or two. All right, that's it for today. I hope you're enjoying the Spartacus game dev journeys. It's a real learning experience. I got to tell you, I have a love-hate thing with Unity already. It's really powerful and amazing. A lot goes wrong. I find myself scratching my head and stuff breaks all the time. I'm using Unity 19 beta, which doesn't make it any easier. It had some interesting features I wanted to try out, like the nested prefabs and stuff, but it's constantly bugging out of me, and so it's driving my head crazy, and, you know, that's my fault. But, you know, look, it's a good way to learn. You know, you dive in, you learn all the systems quirks and stuff like that. Unity is very cool, but it's probably overkill for a 2D pixel platform game. If you're getting started in game development, I do recommend Unity, but I also recommend things like Game Maker if you just wanted to make a platform game, because save yourself the headache, you know. But this is a good one for the career, because, you know, everyone loves Unity, and you can use Unity on PlayStation and Switch and all the rest. So, all right, that's it for now. I'll see you in another video. Bye.